Pistols in Fallout 76 are greatly underestimated, even able to take down some of the nastiest creatures in the wasteland. What makes a pistol truly god tier? Furthermore, what legendary effects truly make a god roll pistol? Today, that is exactly what we are going to find out. Let's start with everyone's universal favorite class of god rolls, damage types. Every god roll will rely heavily on its base weapon. Getting the perfect roll will not be the same for every weapon. For example, a god roll fixer would possibly be quad, crit damage, and reduced AP cost, one of the absolute best rolls for a commando build. Slap those same effects on a minigun though, and you'll have a really nice way to waste your time building for an almost impossible task. Obviously, choosing the best weapon to fit your playstyle is the first step. Do you like stealth? Well then, you're going to want to look for a weapon with a high burst of damage to maximize your stealth damage before you are detected. Or do you like running in head first? Well, the Vampire's effect may be your best option here to keep you alive when you finally decide to be Leroy Jenkins. Now that you have decided your playstyle, what are your options for the most damage? The Alien Blaster was, without a doubt, the strongest pistol in the game, until the latest patch nerfed it. Now it's debatable that the Crusader Pistol could be even better. If you are the 90% of players that do not solo bosses, then having a weapon that can at very least clear most, if not all enemies in the wasteland, will be good enough for you. Now let's talk about some god rolls, focusing on damage. Starting with the Alien Blaster. The best roll for an Alien Blaster would be 2-shot plus 50% crit and 25% AP reduction. With the proper loadout, this weapon can decimate any normal enemy in the wasteland in seconds, and even most legendary enemies as well, even strong enough to compete with some assault rifle builds. To quickly cover what was nerfed about the Alien Blaster. The nerf simply changed the formula of how damage is calculated to the intended formula, making it definitely weaker, but still arguably the best pistol in the game. As for the Crusader Pistol, unlike the Alien Blaster, 2-shot is not going to be your best legendary effect. The legendary effect that will yield the most damage is surprisingly anti-armor. My personal favorite, Bloodied, will do more damage on average to almost all enemies, except for those tougher ones with higher armor ratings. In such cases, anti-armor will be your go-to. Sadly, the Crusader Pistol does not have a built-in explosive effect. So, rolling for your second effect to be explosive is going to be most likely mandatory here. An important note here is that the Crusader Pistol can be modified to use fusion cells. This I highly recommend against. Any energy beam weapon will not be able to have an explosive effect. What I mean is, if your second legendary effect is explosive and you change it to a fusion cell magazine, then you will ultimately not benefit from the second legendary effect at all. In the past, Bethesda has completely removed guns from the game due to them being too overpowered. These weapons were known as legacy weapons. From my understanding, they were usually Gatling lasers with an explosive legendary effect, allowing them to benefit from incorrect formulas, giving them insane damage numbers. My assumption is that Bethesda removed these weapons and most likely removed the ability to create a laser effect that explodes due to that, but that is just a guess. The final legendary effect would simply be reduced AP cost. Of course, if you are not a VATS build, then reload speed or even break slower would still be beneficial. As for cryo or pyro magazines, it depends if you would like to slow down your enemies or heal your teammates with the pyro. A major drawback with these magazines though, hitting yourself with a pyro magazine will of course damage you over time, while getting hit with a cryo magazine will slow you down by 60% as well. Two things that you definitely want to avoid if you want to survive. On to our next weapon, the Gaus Pistol. Surprisingly, for an explosive weapon, the Gaus Pistol is great for stealth. This weapon's strength is its high damage charge shot. Having a suppressor modification makes it perfect for the instigating legendary effect, sneaking up on unsuspecting foes for a stealth one-shot killing spree. To maximize damage, additional critical damage for the second legendary effect would be recommended, but this pistol tends to be very inaccurate, so another good effect here would be plus 50% chance to hit in VATS. Weapon speed seems to always be a good legendary effect, but sadly, charged weapons do not benefit at all from this effect. The last legendary effect that would be most beneficial here is reduced AP cost. This very unique pistol can benefit from stealth and explosive perks, while also being an energy weapon benefiting from the additional damage that the science perks give, and furthermore, things like high voltage Hefe, or the energy small weapons, or explosive bobbleheads, a true min-maxer's paradise. Really, any pistol can clear most mobs, except for the salvaged Assaultron head. Nothing personal against the single user of this weapon, but having to charge it, reload it constantly, and giving you radiation every time you use it, I definitely recommend almost anybody stay clear of this wacky wasteland weapon. The only other pistols that I do not recommend are revolvers. Yes, they are fun when you want to live out your dreams as Rick Grimes, screaming "Call!" throughout the wasteland. I personally made a whole character dedicated to revolvers with a detective noir aesthetic, and I still use a bloodied explosive AP cost revolver, but only for fun. Of course, you could always roll for a quad, giving it up to 24 bullets, but if it is a single action revolver, have fun having a comedically long time reloading your 24 bullets one by one. Legendary effects, such as medics, have been heavily overlooked, due to Fallout 76 not having any truly difficult content, which would pit a limited team of Vault Dwellers against insurmountable odds. There was the Vault Raid, but sadly that and Nuclear Winter have yet to make their way back into the game. The devs certainly had pistols in mind when it comes to the medic's effect, it seems. Though currently, no content in 76 has respawn restricted game modes, these pistols will still shine above most others. The VATS Unknown and the Medical Malpractice. Both pistols have the medic's legendary effect guaranteed. The Medical Malpractice has many drawbacks, such as its slow fire rate and low ammo capacity. It will be more accurate due to its second legendary effect of VATS Enhanced, giving it an additional 50% chance to hit in VATS, while also reducing AP cost with its third legendary effect. All around, the better base weapon, with better fire rate, ammo capacity, and a variety of other mods such as cryo rounds, make the Alien Blaster overall better. The VATS Unknown will gain extra crit damage with its second legendary effect, making up for some of the lack of legendary effect damage, further giving it better crit rates with the third legendary effect. Both of these weapons are perfect for a support healer, and worth a try with some friends, or even your average daily op randoms. As much as many would like to argue, god rolls come in many shapes and sizes. Of course, you have the most mainstream and sought after boss killers. These specific rolls will usually emphasize damage, min-maxing a weapon to its full potential. Other god rolls are arguable, but still worth their weight in gold bullion. When doing an insane amount of damage isn't your best option, there are always other options and ways to support your fellow players. I'm currently finishing a general pistol build guide, covering some ideas of good builds and some of the best perk recommendations I can come up with. I hope this simple guide to some of the best pistols in the game helps you out. If it did, let me know, and drop a like and subscribe if you're interested in more of the best weapons in Fallout 76. Which weapons would you like covered in the future? As always guys, thank you so much for watching.